Macaulay Culkin was born on August 26, 1980, in New York City. His father, Kit Culkin, was a former child actor and manager, and his mother, Patricia Brentrup, worked as a telephone operator. Macaulay took a very bold and clear interest in the attention performing gave him at a very young age. His first play was when he was 4 years old. Very early on, he was enrolled in schools and programs where he could further study the performing arts. This included Blanchine's School for the American Ballet. He had also appeared in several television commercials. His first feature film was Rocket Gibraltar in 1988, but the part he played in 1989 as John Candy's nephew in the movie Uncle Buck is what caught the public's attention.
Where do you live?
In the city.
Do you have a house?
Apartment.
On a rent?
Rent.
What do you do for a living?
Lots of things.
Where's your office?
I don't have one.
How come?
I don't need one.
Where's your wife?
Don't have one.
How come?
It's a long story.
Do you have kids?
No, I don't.
How come?
It's an even longer story.
Are you my dad's brother?
What's your record for consecutive questions asked?
38.
I'm your dad's brother, all right.
You have much more hair on your nose than my dad.
How nice of you to notice.
He quickly rose to fame and seemed to be Hollywood's favorite child actor after starring in the extremely successful classic Home Alone. In fact, it was the highest grossing film that year. In 1991, he recaptured the love and admiration of the audience with his performance in the movie My Girl. However, this heartfelt tearjerker was the final peak of his child acting career.
2, 2.5, 3.
He later starred in the movie The Good Son in 1993, which was a dark and twisted shift from the innocent and lovable characters he normally portrayed. By the time he starred in Richie Rich and The Pagemaster in 1994, his popularity had already begun to fade. In 1995, it was made public that Kit Culkin, Macaulay's manager up until that point, had mismanaged his son's finances, which then initiated a vicious custody battle. His mother accused Kit of living vicariously through his children, forcing them into Hollywood careers. He did kind of push it to the extreme. 5 out of the 7 of his children became performers, whether it be plays, movies, or commercials. They were living a glamorous fantasy life, but according to Patricia, their relationship became a cycle of alcoholism, violence, and adultery. Kit Culkin said her allegations were, quote, fabrications, half-truths, and outright lies. Patricia stated, and I quote, "We went through the hungry years, the struggling, and when we became successful, I thought we'd just sit back and enjoy it, and relax. Instead, we were happier living hand to mouth, and that's what's so hard. We don't get to enjoy what the whole family worked for together." Eventually, this strenuous legal battle came to an end, and full custody was awarded to his mother. Macaulay then took a break from acting, after doing 15 films in 7 years. The first movie that he appeared in since 1994 was in 2003, called Party Monster. This movie was based on true events involving a party promoter named Michael Alig, who worked for a club owner named Peter Gatien. It was a wild ride of thrills and spills, including heavy drug abuse, murder, and Marilyn Manson dressed as a woman trying to drive a transport truck on acid. This obviously came as a shock to his original audiences, and later became fuel for the rumors of Macaulay becoming deeply involved in heroin.
So what do you actually do?
We don't do, we just are.
But what about work?
Well, it takes a lot of work to look that ridiculous.
Oh, my winged Valkyrie. How do you support yourself?
Well, oh, can't you guess? He's a drug dealer.
No, but seriously.
Oh, it's all just innocent fun. They're not hurting anyone. Let the children play.
We're partying with the club kids. Famous because they're fabulous.
Now, how does that work? I mean, do you rate a place and say suddenly to the McDonald's manager that you have 1,000 friends you want to bring in?
Well, I wouldn't call rating a place, and we don't tell the manager. But no, it's really word of mouth sort of thing. An idea hits the scene, and somebody will say, you know, let's do a party at Burger King in Times Square, and then through word of mouth, and our group is so closely knit that, you know, within hours the word will be out, and at midnight there'll be 700 people at Burger King serving drinks. We bring our own drinks and our music, and we have a party.
And what do the law enforcement people say about that?
We're usually over it by the time they get there. We're usually bored of it by the time they get there.
So it's a quick party.
Oh yeah, about 30 minutes usually.
Hi.
Welcome to Chicken Bun. May I take your order, please?
Yes, I'd like 300 cheeseburgers and 300 French fries, please.
Will that be to stay or to go?
To stay.
Will there be anything to drink with that?
How about one of your thick and creamy milkshakes?
My name's Rodney. You can call me Rod for short.
Hello, Rod.
Angel, have you got...
Michael, how could you do that?
Do what?
Lie about my age to the entire United States.
Michael.
Angel, I really need...
It's time to go.
I've got a date. Mom, I can't take you to the airport. I'm sick.
No, you're sick. What's
Oh,
the
it's
matter?
nothing. It's just heroin withdrawal.
Michael. Michael.
Although Macaulay denies ever having an addiction to heroin, he does profess that he went through a period where he abused pharmaceutical drugs such as Xanax. This would explain his sickly appearance the tabloids captured and ran with, and his strange choices in performance pieces. In 2011, he was featured in an experimental film called The Wrong Ferarri, which was shot entirely on an iPhone. By 2013, the public strongly believed that Macaulay had completely lost it, and was rapidly approaching death's door. He had uploaded a video to YouTube of him eating pizza, looking depressed and as if he hadn't slept for days. Turns out, he was doing a parody of a segment where famous artist Andy Warhol ate a Burger King Whopper for a documentary called 66 Scenes from America. This was also later revealed to be a promotional piece for his rock band called the Pizza Underground, where they basically did covers of songs, but replaced certain words with pizza references. This was poorly received by his audiences, and in May 2014, Macaulay stormed off the stage during a kazoo solo, when the crowd began booing and throwing beer bottles at him and the band. They canceled the remaining shows on that tour, but claimed it had nothing to do with the incident at their last performance.
Take a bite of the wild slice. Said, hey, Grace, take a bite of the wild slice. And the pizza gals say, choo, 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 choo,
Between 1998 and now, Culkin has had many different relationships, including his marriage to actress Rachel Miner in 1998, which ended in a separation in the year 2000 and a divorce in the year 2002. He also dated Mila Kunis, best known for her part in That 70s Show, as well as former All My Children actress Jordan Lane Price. As of 2017, he has been happily involved with co-star Brenda Song. However, his most notable relationship, which also created a lot of buzz and controversy, was with Michael Jackson. After appearing in a music video and spending a great deal of time with Jackson, a media firestorm arose when Jackson was accused of sexually abusing the son of screenwriter and celebrity dentist Evan Chandler. Star Wars actress Carrie Fisher, with whom Chandler had spoken with frequently about his concerns, stated, "I never thought that Michael's whole thing with the kids was sexual. Never, as in Neverland. Granted, it was miles from appropriate, but just because it wasn't normal doesn't mean that it had to be perverse. Those aren't the only two choices for what can happen between an adult and an unrelated child hanging out together. And yes, he had an amusement park, a zoo, a movie theater, popcorn, candy, and an elephant. But to draw a line under all of that, and add it up to the assumption that he fiendishly rubbed his hands together as he assembled this giant super spider web to lure and trap kids into it, is just bad math." Macaulay Culkin was close with Jackson, and took the stand at the trial in his defense. He explained that he had slept in Jackson's bedroom on countless occasions, but also stated that his bedroom was arranged over 2 stories, and that Jackson had never sexually molested him or touched him in improper ways. Culkin referred to the allegations as absolutely ridiculous. My take on that whole debacle is that it was very clear Michael Jackson was robbed of his childhood, and it's very likely that in his mind, what he was doing was completely innocent and from a place of good intention. He knew how easily a childhood could be lost, and it's almost as if he wanted to make sure the kids of other rich or famous people he knew always had a chance to just be kids. However, I can also see how the parents of the children could perceive the setup of his ranch, and his special interest in spending time specifically with children. I can also see how it could be viewed as inappropriate just on its own, even without there being any abuse.
So, want to come over here and see the elephant?
In 2009, Michael Jackson died of a pharmaceutical overdose. Shortly after, Evan Chandler ended his own life, which in some ways is another bid for Jackson's innocence. Evan may have had a guilty conscience for pushing the case to settlement, when in reality, his ex-wife and his children's trips to Neverland and elsewhere with Jackson became favored over their weekend visits with Evan, and the allegations he made could be viewed as a form of retaliation. Fast forward to now, the redemption. After all the supposed scandal and scrutiny from the public, it seems the slate is now clean. Macaulay recently came back into the limelight just this year, when he appeared on The Ellen Show and The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. He looks healthy, happy, and clean. Hell, he looks 15 years younger. Let's give him a round of applause. He's still quirky and pursuing a very strange online endeavor, but he seems a lot more together now than we've seen him in years. He's currently hosting a podcast called Bunny Ears, where he seems to have embraced and adopted the Michael Alig persona he played, but without the drugs. So that's a win in my books.
Hi, I'm TV's Devin Sawa, but you might know me better as the Page Master. Hi, I'm Michael. I grew up in the Midwest. Usual story, felt different, really didn't fit in.
He's also now getting back to the formal movie scene for a film called Changeland, written and directed by Seth Green. The current description for the movie is, while visiting Thailand, 2 estranged friends realize there's no rule book for finding purpose and meaning in life. So we'll have to keep a lookout for more on that. We live in a time where you can express yourself freely, and as long as you're not abusing yourself or anybody else, go ahead and do you.